everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, I'm Christina. I am a stay-at-home mom of 2. I'm 30 years old. Today I wanted to talk about all the books that I read in January. I believe it was 11 if I'm not mistaken. I just checked my Goodreads. Yes, I did read 11 books this month. January was so long. I'm like, is that why I read so many books this month? But anyway, if you're on Goodreads, I will put my Goodreads down below. I'm obsessed with Goodreads. I think it's such a fun little app. But anyway, let's get into it. I'm going to share all my January reads with you guys and do a little review. The first book I read in January was That's Not My Name by Megan Lally. I gave this one 5 stars. I absolutely loved the storyline. It was about this girl who went missing, and her boyfriend and his friends are going to do like their own investigation because they think the cops aren't doing a good enough job. And it was just a really good storyline. It kept me intrigued the entire time, and there was a pretty big twist at the end, which we always love, and it did make me cry at the very end. So if a book makes me cry, it's an automatic 5 stars for me. So if you like a quick, fast-paced thriller, definitely check out That's Not My Name. The second book I read was The Overnight Guest by Heather Gudenkauf, if I'm saying that correctly. This one was really good. If you want like a Snowden cabin type of feel, it was another psychological thriller. This woman goes to this cabin to finish writing her book, and she finds a random kid in the snow, and lots of twists and turns. I gave this one 4 stars. The third book I read was Remarkably Bright Creatures by Shelby Van Pelt. I absolutely fell in love with this book. I've never read quite anything like this before. I guess it would just be considered like a fiction, but it's about this older woman who lost her son and her husband, and she just gets a random job at a local aquarium, and she connects with this octopus, and it's really cool because you get her perspective, and then you also get the perspective of the octopus, which I thought was very cool, very unique. Like I said, I never read anything like it. Again, this one made me cry, automatic 5 stars. Fourth book I read was The Moonlight Child by Karen McQuestion. I saw Frida McFadden recommend this book to her readers. She gave it 5 stars, so I was like, I'll give it a try. It's about this woman who lives in this house, and she sees her neighbor across like the yard, and she sees this little girl in the window like doing dishes, and she's like, they don't have a little child. So she like does this whole investigation about who this child is. It was pretty like fast-paced, another like psychological thriller. I personally was waiting for like a huge twist at the end that I didn't get necessarily, but that's more of a me problem. Like the book was still very good. I just look for that like shock factor, like a huge twist that like makes my jaw drop. I gave this one 4 stars. I really liked the storyline. The next book I read was The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Oh my god, this was my first ever historical fiction book, and I'm completely obsessed with the genre now, and I cannot wait to read more. I have never cried reading a book as much as this book has made me cry. It's about 2 sisters living in World War II, and they live in France, and it's all about like Germany invading France, and just, again, it's fiction, but it's just about like their storyline of what the 2 sisters do during the war and how they get through it. And oh my god, it is absolutely amazing. My life will never be the same after reading this book. It has changed me, and I cannot wait to read more Kristen Hanna and more historical fiction. 5 star, 100 stars. The next book I read was Shamrock Kisses by Serena Peer. This was a third of a series that I'm reading. It's a novella series. The first one I believe is Santa's Coming. The third one is, I forget what it's called, but it's like a Christmas one, a Valentine's one, and then this was the St. Patrick's one, and I'm pretty sure an Easter one is about to come out in a couple months. They're just short little novellas, probably between like 60 and 100 pages, really quick. It's like a little palate cleanser. They're really cute, a little bit spicy. I gave this one 3 stars. Out of all 3 that I've read, this was my least favorite. It gets to be a little bit repetitive when it's a series and they're all connected in the characters and stuff, but it was really good if you want like a quick, fast-paced, little spicy moment. The next books I read were the Arrangement series from Kristen Modglen. I really liked this series. The first one, The Arrangement, I gave 4 stars. It's about this couple who need to work on their marriage. They decide to give each other like a hall pass so they can see if they'll like come back to each other, but then with this new arrangement, all of their dark secrets start coming out, and This series absolutely blew my mind. I gave the first one 4 stars, the second one 3 stars, and the third one, I forget, let me see. And I gave the third one 2.5. The third one was a little bit like far-fetched for a real life situation, but super quick, fast-paced psychological thriller with crazy twists, and it was just batshit crazy. The next book I read was The Women by Kristen Hanna. Again, huge historical fiction fan. I'm starting to become. Kristen Hanna is absolutely amazing. Women, I gave 5 stars. Again, if a book makes you cry, you're getting 5 stars. Kristen Hanna definitely knows how to pull on the heartstrings. This book was about this woman whose brother gets drafted in Vietnam War, and she decides to go over there as well and be a nurse. The whole book is just her whole story before the war, during the war, after the war, and it is just an incredible read. I absolutely loved it. 5 stars. And the last book I read was The Crash by Freida McFadden. If you know me at all, you know I'm a huge Freida McFadden fan. I absolutely loved The Crash. I gave it 5 stars. It's about this pregnant woman who is going on a road trip to see her brother, and it was during a blizzard. She gets into a car accident, and this couple takes her in, and really crazy, weird stuff happens. It touched on a lot of topics that I feel like Freida McFadden hasn't touched on in the past. It was a really good and unique story, and I really liked it. But Freida McFadden can do no wrong in my eyes, so maybe I'm not the best person to ask. So that is everything that I read in the month of January. Like I said, follow me on Goodreads. You can keep up with all my books there. The first book I started for February so far is called Love Mom by Ileana Zander, and I really like it so far. I'm about 50% through. If I read enough books in the month of February, then I will definitely do this again. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!